Hello, and welcome back to this week's new reading vlog. In this reading vlog, I'm going to be reading from authors I have read from and given 5-star. In this video, I'm going to be reading 4 books from authors who I have read previously and given 5 stars. I think that's the one. They are going to be books that have been on my shelf for a long time and I really needed to get to. So the first one is going to be This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi, a YA fantasy. Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, a literary fiction novel. Give Her a Stars by Jojo Moyes, which is a historical fiction. And the last one is The Searcher by Tana, which is a mystery. I haven't vlogged in so long. I ended up being so ahead of like my video uploads or like my video filming in March that almost all of my April videos were like filmed in March and I didn't film at all in April. Now that I told myself to chill and I need a vlog, it's May and I should be uploading this in May. It's Sunday. I have been reading this book for so long. It's Mother's Day actually today. I've been reading this since the beginning of the month and I'm not enjoying it. Like I've had a DNF, so I think that was just like putting me in a whole thing. I've been reading so little and I don't like that, but that's such a bad reflection of this book because I am really enjoying it. This book is about Alize. She is a disposable servant who doesn't know that she is actually the long lost heir to an ancient Jinn kingdom and she's being hunted for who she is. They've been hunted within this kingdom that she's in. People do not like her kind. So then we're following the Crown Prince Kamran as well. He's heard of the prophecies that a fearsome monster, I guess a Jinn, is supposed to kill his king, his grandfather. And he's growing more suspicious of the servant girl with the strange eyes who is Alize, and he learns about her, but it's hard to kind of turn away, and I think it's supposed to be this forbidden romance clashing empires, and it's getting really good. Like the reason why I DNF'd the other book was because I was like reading it and I was like, these are not the characters from This Woven Kingdom, what's going on? I am liking it. I'm actually pretty far into it, but I just don't have any thoughts. Like I'm enjoying it and it's a great YA fantasy, but I don't have thoughts. Maybe because I've been just reading so little at a time. Alize has lost her family. She's making it on her own, and because of her eyes that give her away, it's very difficult for her to find good work. She can only be like a servant, but people knowing what she is really take advantage of that to treat her like absolute garbage. She's really toughing it out. She does have some abilities that help her. I don't know if she knows like her capabilities, but she does have like literal ice in her blood. She loves fire to keep warm. They have to live near water. Kamran is a crown prince, but he's definitely not as old school as his grandfather, the king, and his advisors. He's really trying to break away from that, but I'm not sure if he's like ready to be king. I finally finished it. I've been reading this book for way too long. I don't really know what was going on in this book. Like literally, it felt like there wasn't a lot of plot and it wasn't very fantastical, but I'm intrigued about what's gonna happen next. I'm very confused about the ending. There's a 3rd book that came out this year. I think there's supposed to be a 4th book that's coming out next year as well, but I'm confused. Maybe I might borrow the 2nd book from the library just to see if I want to continue with this series, because I usually do have a hard time with first books in fantasy series. I feel like it was just kind of setting up the world, but there's going to be so much more that's going to happen in the next book. I'm a little lost. It was a good time, like literally so head empty. You could ask me about this book and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I like Alize. The angst and like the tension between Kamran and her was interesting, but I don't know why they're so drawn to each other. But yeah, I'm done. I have no thoughts, so I feel like it's like a 2.5. But that seems bad, right? So I'm gonna give it like a 2.75. I did bring the next book with me. I'm waiting for Coda to come home from work. I'm currently dog sitting in someone else's place for 2 dogs. I drink coffee too late. I can't sleep. I do have to be up so early tomorrow for the dog walks, but that's my own fault. I got out of work early today and it was amazing because I was able to read to and from work, which is quite rare. It's also great because I've been in like this really weird reading slump where I just don't know why I'm not reading at all. I don't feel like I'm in the mood to read, and so I haven't been reading at home. I actually ended up reading like 150 pages today, or 160. Yeah, so I'm reading Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. The 5-star book for me was Normal People. I loved it so much in 2020 that I read it twice and I loved the show. This book is so weird and interesting. It's very Sally Rooney style, very Normal People. This one is about Frances. She is 21, she's observant, she's quiet, she wants to be a writer. She has her best friend Bobby who used to be her ex as well, and they meet Melissa, who are they being interviewed by. She is a well-known journalist, and her husband Nick, who is an actor. They enter into this weird friendship, and Frances and Nick get unexpectedly closer, and it's just about like confronting her vulnerabilities in her young life. And it's interesting actually because Marianne comes up in this book, which I loved. I think this book is taking place after Normal People though, because it said that Marianne was visiting from New York, so I loved that little tidbit in part 2. It is so weird. Like, I don't even know if I'm enjoying this book or not, but it definitely felt like it got more interesting to me because I was able to just read so much and I had this momentum going. But it's showing like really weird adult friendships, and also like Frances is just really weird, kind of this unemotional, morally gray kind of girl, this bisexual girl, or at least is exploring her bisexuality. Bobby just doesn't seem like a really great friend. She's like this bitch. I don't know, but like her and Frances are good friends, but I'm not really like seeing why they are friends or like the relationship between them. I'm also just not even seeing the appeal between Frances and Nick and their whatever the fuck is going on between them, but I'm reading it and it's so weird. Ideally, I would like to finish this tonight, especially since I've been just in this momentum of it, but I also think that this is Sally Rooney's debut, and maybe just these are just the types of characters that she writes. I did not find that the absence of quotation marks was a problem for me in Normal People. It's still a little bit confusing in Conversations with Friends, oddly enough. I did find this in the little free library, but I did purchase Beautiful World, Where Are You? I do still want to read that one. This is so weird. I don't know how I feel about this just yet. I'm not done with Conversations with Friends yet. I think I have like 20 pages left, which is not enough for my commute today. So I will be starting the next book, which is The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I really love everything that she's put out. I'm not sure why it's taking me so long to get to this one, because this was published in November of 2019, or at least it was my pick for book of the month that time. I'm looking forward to this. It's a little bit historical. It's set in Depression era America, and it's following 5 extraordinary women and their journey through the mountains of Kentucky. I think this is the one about the library. Yeah, so it's a traveling library known as the Pack Horse Librarians of Kentucky, and they travel around bringing books to women, to people, to new towns, and it's about like women's friendships and true love. So I did finally finish Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney yesterday, and I don't really know how to feel about this book or like what to rate it. I guess which is like kind of how people felt when they were reading Normal People, but I think with Normal People I had a better time with it because there were 2 characters to focus on, Marianne and Connell. There were things that I liked about them and things that really frustrated me about them, but in the end I was really rooting for their friendship more than anything. But in this one, there's not like one likable person or like something to root for, so I was kind of just reading it for like the drama, but there like wasn't enough drama. I don't really know. I feel like this is just like the type of books that she writes, maybe. I guess I'm giving it like 3 stars. I didn't get very far with The Giver of Stars. I ended up like falling asleep super hard on the train and almost missed my stop. But I only like literally read the prologue and the chapter, and I realized I was on chapter 6, but I was looking back today to see if I actually comprehended stuff, and I didn't. These are my nails though. I think they're like perfect for the summertime. And it's a beach theme. They're a little similar to the marble one that I had for April, May, but oh my gosh, I love them. My nail tech, love her, but she didn't take pictures of them this time and it made me feel kind of weird. Anyway, I hope that I enjoy The Giver of Stars because this is going very weird. It might just be me being in the slump and not knowing what's going on and what to feel right now. I'm very sluggish in my reading. Wasn't loving the lighting, so I'm leaning back here a little bit, but I've been continuing to read Giver of Stars. I'm at Coda's place right now and he's preparing dinner, but this one is about like a traveling library. I think it was part of something that Eleanor Roosevelt actually set up in the country, and these women would travel by horseback to different homes up in the mountains in Kentucky to bring people books every week, and they would catalog all of them, and it was like this team of women. The main main character is from England. She married into an American family. Her husband kind of just doesn't want to make a child with her. It seems like they don't really have like proper alone time, and since she one time initiated sex, I think what the situation was, and he like thought she was so nasty for doing so, and he's like no longer into her or whatever. So she's trying to have this job to become part of the community. I don't know if I'm liking this book, or it's just part of this weird slump that I'm in. Like, this is going so terribly. Koda made me some coffee, and then I think he went to go nap because he actually woke up early to get a haircut. I wanted to come on to say that I think I'm going to be DNFing Giver of Stars. It might be because I'm in like this weird creative slump, reading slump, or the reading slump is like really putting me in a true creative rut, which is why I have not been posting. I just not enjoying reading at all. I don't feel like picking up a book at all, and I think the only thing that's helping me right now is this BDSM romance that I'm reading by Rebecca Weatherspoon. I'm reading Megan, which is part of a series, and that's been really nice. So I feel like I need to just go into something really light and easy, and I might make another video about getting back into reading because I don't think I've been in a rut for so long. It's been a month. In May I only read like 3 books and the ratings were all 3 stars or less. I just want to be able to read again, have fun, kick my little feet, and just have a nice time. The Giver of Stars was like not really doing anything for me. Every time I picked it up or opened it was because I was on the train and I needed something to read on my commute. Anytime I did, I was like, wait, I have no idea what's going on. And if I would fall asleep and I would flip back to like where I was, supposedly was, and I would just have no idea what's going on. I don't really have any connections to the characters or the plot. I think I might just keep it on my shelf just for the sake of me being in this weird place, or I might just get rid of it completely because I do really like Jojo Moyes. Any book that I've read by her, I've really enjoyed. I think it's been at least 4 or 5 stars. I've been going on social media less actually, but while I've been at Koda's place, I've been trying to scroll mindfully through social media like Instagram and shorts just to see if it could spark something creatively in me, and it hasn't really been working, which is kind of like a gift and a curse of like how creative people can be and like new content and ideas that they're pushing out. It's such a weird feeling to be so stuck because in March, April I was on such a high of pushing out a lot of content and being so excited and so much more creatively motivated, to going to like nothing in May and having nothing to upload or the desire to upload, and I don't really know what's going on because it felt so like the burnout felt really quick. It's a bit of a cloudy day today, but I'm back at Koda's place. I brought back a new book with me. I look shiny as fuck because the sun's coming out a little bit, so I want to go out and tan / read. So I brought with me The Searcher by Tana French. I bought this I think during the pandemic, pre-pandemic, so it's been a while, but Tana French is such an underrated author to me. I really enjoy her books. She's more of like a detective crime author, but I really loved her series. I forget what it's called. The 5-star book that I for sure gave was the first book in the series, Into the Woods, and this is part of a new series following a different detective who I think is retired. I bought the sequel to this even though I didn't know if I would like this because it was the last signed edition at the bookstore, so obviously I had to buy it. I'm really excited to start this. I have been reading Let's Go Outside into Koda's Backyard and Set Up. I have so much sunscreen and cat hair on my face. Not a great combination, but she's cute. We'll forgive it. It just started downpouring. I'm currently watching the first game of the NBA Finals, but it's halftime right now, so I'm continuing on with The Searchers because I haven't read it all today. It's a really slow start. I'm only like 40 pages into it, but it's really slow. So what I know from it is that this American man named Cal, I think he's retired police, moves to a small little remote town in Ireland to buy a patch of land to, as far as I know, retire. So he's never been to this place before. Sorry if the rain is too loud. He is renovating this home, basically fixing it up. He is, I believe, divorced, and someone is like spying on his home, and it turns out to be this 12-year-old kid. The synopsis of the story is that this kid, Trey's brother, is missing, and the police aren't taking him seriously, and they're not actually looking for his brother, and so he recruits this retired police officer to try to help him. I'm loving like the Irish talk. I tried to look for the audiobook, but there's a wait list for it. I finally finished The Searcher yesterday on my commute. I didn't realize just how long I was reading this for. I read this for over 10 days, which is a really long time. I know this book is kind of long, but I usually finish books within a week. This was really slow, and I know that there's plot, but it didn't feel like there was plot. It just felt like everything kind of wrapped up really quickly in the end, and everything came out in the end. And I think that it's because the main character, Cal, is a foreigner doing like police work or sleuthing in a different country, in a foreign country where he doesn't have any connections, and it's a little bit harder for him to solve things sort of in the same cop way that Tana French has written her other books. And so it felt really boring. It's such a small town where literally nothing happens that it felt boring even more so. This book is going to be 2 stars. This is so unfortunate. I feel like I'm ending this video in such a terrible note. It just goes to show though that like you can have favorite authors and not like everything that they put out. It just is also really unfortunate with this one because I bought the sequel already prior to having read this because I couldn't pass up the last signed copy at a bookstore. So I will read that because it's obviously a different story following the same characters. Cal is obviously the main one, Trey's in it, and so is Lena. That's who was in the synopsis, but I don't think that I will be reading more of books by her within this series. At least I know it's her new series, but I think I might just revisit her old ones, or I hope that she comes out with a different one because it looks like some people on Goodreads also didn't enjoy this book as much either. I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm going to be starting another popular book for the video that I'm doing to help me get out of my reading slump, so I hope that it's good. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for being patient with me while I put out videos and I suffer through a reading slump, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!